Hi kids, Uncle Jesse here, and it's Sunday, and that means it's time for another episode of Showtime with Jesse. Yay! Yay! Thanks for coming, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to talk to you today about scaring your readers. That's right, how do you scare people, especially in a book? How do you create that sense of horror, tension, suspense? Well, my first point that I want to make, and I've got three kind of general rules to follow, right? But before I say that, I want to say that scaring people isn't my number one goal when I'm writing a horror book, right? Scaring people is an interesting thing. It's easier in the movies, right? Because in the movies you've got special effects makeup, you've got great acting, you've got great music, you've got all these tricks, lighting and editing and all this stuff that comes together and creates this visceral audiovisual experience, and you can really get sucked into it. Something jumps out, not that it has to be a jump scare, but in general something on the screen can really make someone jump in their chair and scream. You know, you're not going to be reading a book and be like, oh God, like, you know, it's a different experience. They're just words on a page, right? Someone's calling me in the middle of my program. No, don't stop filming. Hold on. Who dares call me in the middle of my program? Who dares call me in the middle of the filming of Storytime with Jesse, America's new favorite show? Yes, I'm recording an episode right now. What the fuck do you want from my life? Look, my viewers don't want to hear about Inky Blinky Stinky. I'm hanging up now. I'll call you later. Fuck off. That was my best friend. Anyway, so what I'm trying to get at is, it's easier to scare someone in a movie, I think, when you're talking about actually scaring somebody, right? In a book, what it's really good at is creating suspense, creating depth of character. And I think what's more important than actually scaring people is disturbing people, right? You want to create disturbing, deep ideas, and you want to create a sense of suspense, right? So here's my three best things to create suspense, to create that sense of looming horror. Number one, it's the characters. You have to create believable and relatable characters. When you read these characters, you have to feel like, that's me. Or if that's not me, that's someone that I know. That might not be something that I would ever do, but I can see somebody doing that or thinking that. You know, you want your characters to be real, believable people, so that when you put them in peril, you actually care about them, right? If you don't care about your characters, you're not going to feel that sense of dread for them. It's not going to make you, anxious. It's not going to create the suspense. So believe in your characters, right? That's rule number one. Rule number two, and this, I don't know, it shouldn't even be rule number two because it goes without saying, good grammar, right? Now, why is good grammar important for scaring people? Is because when you want to scare someone, you want to get them into that mood, get them into that moment, the littlest thing can just pull somebody right out of a story, right? So if you put a comma in the wrong place, or you forget to put a comma, or you spell a word wrong, or your sentence is just kind of clunky, someone has to go back and read it again, like, what are they trying to... If your prose doesn't just flow nice and smooth, the people can't get into it, and it'll pull them out, distract them. And that's a good way to kill off your suspense, right? So just have good grammar, people. Have good grammar. Let people dive into the well and just get lost in it. Don't give them any reason to be distracted and pull them out of it. And my last but not least, mystery. Keep your reader guessing. Horror is a lot like the mystery genre. The whole time, you don't want to give away too much. You don't want to tell too much about what the threat is. You don't want to show your monster too much or your killer, right? You always want that whodunit kind of aspect, or what's going to happen. You want people reading, going, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen? Who's the killer? What does the monster look like? You don't want to give them too much. You want to create that sense of mystery, and that's going to create the suspense, right? You got to think of it like a roller coaster ride. You know, you don't want someone to truly be terrified, because, I mean, look, just because I'm a horror writer doesn't mean that I love to be terrified. If I'm in a car accident or, you know, stuck in the middle of the ocean without a life preserver, I'm going to be terrified, but I'm not going to be having a good time, right? So I don't want to be really terrified. What I want is to be on a heightened level of suspense and not knowing where things are going and caring just enough about these characters that I don't want to see anything bad happen to them. So those are my 3 things. There are other things, of course, but those are the 3 main things that I would say, you know, you really have to lock down if you want to scare your reader, or at least create a suspenseful feeling, a sense of dread, and really kind of disturb people. You got to get down deep with it. All right. Thanks for watching, you guys. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. Remember, I got 3 new books out. I've got Skinner, I've got a collection of tales, and I've got Lady of the Lake. I don't know if you could see these, but they are all on Amazon. You can get them in Kindle and paperback editions. Please go support your indie artists and writers and show some love. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I will see you